organization is Ekjut. The first organization is Ekjut India, which works towards building up a society promoting equity and inclusiveness, and contribute towards building capacity for empowering the communities to enable them to secure a life of dignity and quality. Ekjut's partnering communities are the indigenous people living in the under-reserved districts and the urban homeless, and works on the themes of survive, thrive, and transform. The themes include improving maternal and newborn health and nutrition, prevention of gender based violence, and issues of adolescent health and wellness. While Brazil, India aims towards creating links of knowledge between children, young people, educators, and encouragers of change, thus rescuing traditional and environmental cultures in the two countries, that is, India and Brazil. The goal is to foster a deep and transforming learning by rescuing the harmony and peace inherent in the traditional knowledge of these two people who share a similar seed. Going ahead and to set the program tone, we will have a cultural performance by the Ekjut Yuva Sati team. The traditional cultural performance by this group is from the Ho community in Jharkhand. We have Miss Sumitra, Miss Nitima, Miss Muni, Miss Lakshmi, and Miss Sweetie in their traditional attire, who will be performing along with Debai playing the madal and Mr. Ajay playing the nagada, which is a drum and a folk musical instrument. This dance is generally performed during marriage ceremonies, and the movements show a greeting followed by plucking of flowers and harvesting of crops. All festivals end with dance forms that are specific to the occasion, and their main festival being the Mage festival, which is held in spring, where the entire village comes together to celebrate life in general and goes on for 3 days. While the dance performance goes on through the entire night, it is also a time for the youngsters to choose their life partners.
जोहार सबको। मेरा नाम अजय लेंग है। मैं गांव में युवा किशोर किशोरियों के साथ में बैठकी करती हूँ।
सबको जोहार। मेरा नाम स्वीटी, मैं वेस्ट सिंहभूम झारखंड से हूँ। मैं किशोर किशोरियों के युवा नेतृत्व पे काम करती हूँ।
सबको जोहार। मेरा नाम मुन्नी कागरई है। मैं पीएलए कोऑर्डिनेटर हूँ। गांव में 3 साल से 6 महीने से 3 साल के बच्चों के साथ काम करते हैं और ग्रामीण महिलाओं के साथ में काम करते हैं।
जोहार, मेरा नाम नितिमा है और मैं जिया पीएलए कोऑर्डिनेटर है और गांव में 10 से 19 साल के किशोर किशोरियों के साथ में काम करती हूँ।
जोहार, मेरा नाम लक्ष्मी, मैं एकजुट से है। 10 से 19 साल बीच में किशोर किशोरी हैं उनके
मैं किशोर किशोरी प्रोग्राम के तहत मानसिक स्वास्थ्य में जिन लोगों का मानसिक समस्या से जूझ रहे हैं उनके साथ में काम कर रही हूँ। अभी जो हम लोग डांस कर रही है, ये हो समुदाय में शादी के समय में डांस करते हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you everyone for this wonderful performance. एंड आप सभी का धन्यवाद कि आपने हम सबको अपने कल्चर का हिस्सा बनाया। जोहार इज अ वर्ड बेसिकली इक्विवेलेंट टू नमस्ते or pranam, which is used as a greeting among this community. So that is why the introductions, when they were giving, it was a sign of respect from their side, and they were just like we say hello or namaste or pranam. So Johar stands for the same meaning. Moving ahead, we begin the program with an opening remark by the two founders of the organization. And I would like to invite Dr. Nirmala Nair, the co-founder of Ekjut. So as a medical professional, she has pioneered and contributed greatly towards improving maternal and newborn health and nutrition indicators in the state of Jharkhand. Her extensive work with the underprivileged and indigenous communities has been path-breaking. Her work in equity approach is greatly admired by the community as well as by the health system. So we welcome Dr. Nirmala Nair.
Thank you, Jasmine, and a very good morning to Claudia and Professor Lewis and the other members from Brazil who are joining us today. Again, I will greet everyone with a Johar, which is a part of a culture now for all of us here. In this lovely endowed, naturally endowed, wonderful state of Jharkhand, which is just about 21 years old. The name Jharkhand actually literally means a piece of forest or a forested land with a forest cover of close to 28%. People who live in the state, about 38 million of them, 26% of them actually belong to the indigenous communities. And the Ho people constitute about 10% of the large indigenous populations. Ho actually means human, and the name seems very apt because of their closeness to nature. Today, we are speaking from the southernmost part of the state, where a majority, or almost 55% of them, are from the Ho community. And today, whoever you're going to meet is most of them are coming from the same community, the Ho communities. A little about our organization, Ekjut. Ekjut actually means togetherness, and our work in the region started way back in 2002. We initially started our work on improving the health status of mothers and newborn children, like Jasmine said. And then we organically moved to dealing with issues of nutrition among the indigenous populations, particularly those who are underserved and very vulnerable populations. For the last 5 years, we've been working or engaging with adolescents to improve their health and well-being. And this is being done through a community engagement process, which is a very structured community engagement process called the participatory learning and action, which is a systematic way of engaging with the community through a series of monthly meetings. And this is being done by trained facilitators. In the case of the adolescents, they are the Yuva Sathis, and we'll be meeting some of them today, the youth facilitators. And they engage with the adolescents and the youth every month through very interactive sessions like games and role plays, storytelling, where they come together to learn and to decide the best course of action for their problems. The process involves first, prioritizing the problems that they are dealing with, followed by a series of meetings to find the locally feasible solutions. So it is not a very top-down kind of an approach. The people themselves come together and decide what is the best solution or the feasible solutions for them, and then implement the strategies that they have decided upon. Uh, Today, I will not take much time, and I would like to hand over to yeah, so this is a glimpse of a beautiful day. It's Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The performance and what you briefed us about the organization was indeed an eye-opening and truly an exchange of the background of what work you do and also the community at large with whom you work. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Claudia, the founder of Brasilindia. Claudia is not only the founder and the general director of Instituto Brasilindia, but her work is dedicated to traditional communities in Brazil and India as well. She is a journalist with years of experiences in environmental cause. She is a healer, a yoga and Ayurveda teacher as well. So I welcome Claudia to kindly give her opening remarks.
So it's a blessing for me have this our beautiful work here together, because it's not the first time we have something with the Dais, but with Ekjut and Dr. Nirmala and her team. I'm very emotional. It's a very beautiful work you are doing there, amazing work. And we can feel that from here. So Brasilindia is doing something similar. It's not so big as what you already achieved, but we have a beautiful work here. As we have some pictures, can we show that a little bit?
Definitely, Claudia.
Especially with bringing back the traditional knowledge, not only about the herbs, but also about the soil, about what the traditional people can renew or revitalize with their own knowledge, and then we can learn with them. And that's why that's a way to have another kind of aware about what we are, because we for sure are human, and all nature is a kind of human. So we're not an individual, we are a network, and this is only what we're doing, especially working with the children. Children is amazing way to spread, and with the strength, the women strength. This is our part of Amazon. We work is Navilhanas. It's a huge archipelago in Brazil. You can go, and I'm talking then just to show the pictures. And this is a beautiful views you can see. So we are working with these herbs, and then we already exchanged with Dr. Sandeep, this another guy, this with the I don't know in English the name of this for the. He is from India, doctor from Ayurveda doctor, and with the traditional people there and professors, herbal professors, we are doing studies about the herbs, and you can see the children noting about the herbs and everything, and the women, they are starting groups and doing some syrups or creams, and this kind of work is already giving them a way to maintain their families. So see, they are already giving us lessons about how to make the syrups with products, natural products from the forest. And that's you can continue, please. And this is Dr. Sandeep from Pune, Ayurveda doctor, learning about our herbs. So in our COVID times, we are doing lots of campaigns, kit foods, and also preparing syrups from some herbs. It's a tree, it calls jatobá. It's very good for immune system. And then we made lots and spread for 15 communities around it's a reserve, natural reserve. and the people have a less tax, dye tax because of this. So it helps a lot to maintain the health and immunity system. So this is what we usually do in Amazon. Then you can see a little bit in Himalaya. We are doing a beautiful work with Angel, a nature school Angel. So there is still in Amazon, we are doing some herbs draws, and the people was very interesting about see, we have a traditional child doing yoga classes. They are all very open, and they have very curious about Ayurveda because it's very similar from our medicinal, from the forest medicinal knowledge. And then that's why they really enjoyed the Dr. Sandeep lessons. So this is my teacher, Ayurveda teacher from Brazil. This is in orange color, and with a specialist with herbs, Amazonian herbs. And then we have some studies about this. And this is the work we are doing in India, in near Pori, Uttarakhand. It's an NGO, a school, nature school. And then there we are exchanging about India and Brazil. So I show them some culture from here, some indigenous things, and about this is a indigenous chant, and then they draw. I show some videos from Amazon, and then they draw what they see. You can see in the next slide. Yeah, so they see the boats and the trees and the birds, and that's and we exchanged letters also. We have medical camps. Dr. Sandeep is the same doctor who helps us. He's the coordinator of this Ayurvedic healing. And children doing herbs walking also, and to maintain this knowledge, to not lose what they usually. I could observe they already lost also, as here in Brazil too. So that's it what we are doing. And there in the COVID times, we gave some kits also, and some medicines to improve their immune system, and also some gloves who Sindhu he's here, he's from Amazon, he's from Brasilindia, and she made with women some gloves for the wrists, and we gave to them also. And this is the women, yeah, that's it. And the women, we have the similar work there. The women doing some medication, herbal medication, to improve health of their communities. So that's it where we are doing, and we hope to have a beautiful work from now, exchanging our knowledge together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claudia, for the kind sharing of words, as well as helping us to understand the work Brasilindia does, and the mutual cooperation and collaboration that we could get involved to improve the lives of the communities that really need our strength and support. And thank you so much. So moving on into the next segment of our program, we shall now be hearing from the representatives in India and Brazil, whom we are extremely delighted to have today with us to share their experiences. I would now like to call upon Debay Hemran, who belongs to the Ho tribal community and has been with Ekjut for over 5 years. having worked with young people initially as a coordinator for youth facilitators on improving their health, nutrition, and well-being. He went on to become a crash coordinator. Taking on a leadership role, he engaged with adolescents and their parents in a sustainable livelihood practices, providing hand-holding support to people with psychosocial disabilities and the vulnerable pollutions during COVID. Devay, please welcome.
धन्यवाद जस्मीन जी, आपने मुझे इसमें बोलने के लिए मौका दिया। तो मैं एकजुट के साथ पिछले मई 2017 से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ और मुझे पीएलए कोऑर्डिनेटर के रूप में काम मिला, जो गांव में युवा साथी रहते हैं, जो 10 से 19 साल के किशोर किशोरियों को के साथ बैठक करते हैं, उसको खेल के माध्यम से शिक्षा, पोषण और हिंसा में चर्चा करते हैं। तो मैं जहाँ पर वो बैठक करते हैं, मैं उसमें मदद करता हूँ और हर जगह मदद के लिए जाता हूँ। साथ में मुझे बचपन से ही फुटबॉल खेलने का मुझे पसंद है और इसमें काम करते हुए मुझे लीडरशिप ट्रेनिंग के लिए मुझे कोलकाता भेजा गया, उसके बाद बॉम्बे, और वहाँ पर मैंने सीख करके युवा साथी जो 10 से 19 साल के किशोर किशोरी के साथ में काम कर रहे हैं, उनको ट्रेनिंग देने का मुझे काम मिला। उसमें 4-5 गांव मिलाकर एक क्लस्टर बना और एक क्लस्टर में मैंने उन किशोर किशोरियों को ट्रेनिंग दिया और किशोर किशोरियों भी बहुत अच्छे से उसमें भाग लिए। और भाग लेने के बाद सब गांव के किशोर किशोरियों को एक बड़ा सा टूर्नामेंट रखा, उसमें मैं भी योगदान दिया और वहाँ पर जितना मुख्य रूप से गेस्ट आते हैं तो वहाँ अपना कल्चरल के हिसाब से नाच गान करके स्वागत किया। और साथ ही मैं इसमें काम करते हुए आजीविका का भी ट्रेनिंग दिया, उड़ीसा में लेकर के जो अपने गांव के किसान है और उसमें क्या क्या सीखें, जैसे श्री विधि के द्वारा दान रुपाई करना और आण का खेती करना, साथ में मिक्स खेती करना। तो किसानों के साथ में हम भी हर एक साल करते आ रहा हूँ और वो भी कर रहे हैं। अब 2019 से क्रेश कोऑर्डिनेटर के रूप में काम कर रहा हूँ, जिसमें गांव में 2 दीदी रहते हैं। वहाँ पर 6 महीना से 3 साल के बच्चे रहते हैं। उनको सुबह 8 बजे से 4 बजे तक दीदी रखते हैं। उनको सुबह का नाश्ता, दोपहर का खिचड़ी और शाम का नाश्ता देते हैं और साथ में ही एक सप्ताह में 3 अंडा देते हैं। और जो ज़्यादा ही कमजोर है, अति कुपोषित है, उनको एक्स्ट्रा 2 अंडा दिया जाता है सप्ताह में। तो अब कोविड के कारण पूरा देश लॉकडाउन हुआ है, तो सब क्रेश बंद हुआ है, हुआ है। पर हम लोगों ने मैंने हर महीना बच्चों को, अभिभावक को सूखा राशन के रूप में पहुंचाता हूं, ताकि बच्चों का जो स्वास्थ्य उनको सही से वो लोग दे पाए और रख पाए। साथ ही साथ अब गांव में लॉकडाउन के कारण हमारे किसान और मजदूर पर ज्यादा असर पड़ा है, क्योंकि पहले किसान लोग बागान करते थे या खेती करते थे, बागान करके जो पैसा के लिए वो लोग करते थे, तो जिस हिसाब से पहले करते थे अब वो नहीं कर पा रहे, क्योंकि उनके लिए पूरा दिन भर का बाजार नहीं रहता है और उसको बेचने में ये डर होता है कि अगर मैं ज्यादा ले लूं तो वहाँ बेच नहीं पाए, तो पूरा वो लोग नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। और साथ ही जो गांव के मजदूर हैं वो लोग पहले बाहर जाके काम करते थे और जो गांव के सामने या अगल बगल जो शहर है वहाँ भी जा करके काम करते थे, वो भी अब नहीं काम कर पा रहे हैं। तो अब ऐसे गांव में घूम रहे हैं, क्योंकि काम तो नहीं मिल रहा है, पर गुलाल या तो हथियार पकड़ करके वो लोग शिकार करने जाते हैं, पक्षी मारते हैं, जीव जंतु मारते हैं और वो खाते हैं ये। तो इसमें हमारा परिवारन पर भी असर पड़ रहा है। और साथ ही इस लॉकडाउन में हमने पिछले साल से अब तक सूखा राशन के रूप में गांव के जरूरतमंदों को सूखा राशन के रूप में पहुंचा रहे हैं। तो उनको उन तक पहुंचाने के लिए जो गांव में युवा साथी काम कर रहे हैं और उस गांव के जो मुख्य व्यक्ति है, जैसे सैया, सेविका या मुंडा या तो वार्ड मेंबर, उनके द्वारा उन गाँव के जो एकदम बुजुर्ग हैं, या तो उनको एकल महिला है, या कली बच्चे हैं, किशोर किशोरी जिनका माता पिता नहीं है, या तो उनके पेरेंट्स बाहर गए हैं और लॉकडाउन के कारण नहीं कमा पा रहे हैं, या तो जिसको राशन कार्ड की जरूरत है उनके पास राशन कार्ड नहीं है, और इस कोविड के दौरान जिस घर में पूरा परिवार कोविड से पॉजिटिव है, तो उन जैसे जरूरतमंदों तक सूखा राशन अभी भी पहुंचा रहा हूँ। अब मैं एकजुट के साथ 2017 से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ, और जितना उसमें सीखा हूँ अब कोविड के दौरान काम आ रहा है। और पिछले 2 सप्ताह में मुझे अपने पत्नी बोली कि अब बच्चों के साथ काम करते हुए बच्चों का जो परवरिश है बहुत अच्छा से सीख पाए हैं, क्योंकि गांव में जो ज्यादातर देखते हैं वैसा नहीं रख पा रहे, क्योंकि अगर आप इसमें नहीं जुड़ते तो पता नहीं हमारे बच्चों पर भी इस तरह असर दिखता। तो ये सुनकर मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। धन्यवाद। आगे के लिए मैं सुनीता सुरीन को बोलने के लिए समय देता हूँ, क्योंकि वो भी एक युवा साथी के रूप में काम कर रही है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Divyaji. Using sports as a medium to bring about changes in the lives of people is indeed a unique initiative now being explored extensively in the development sector. And sincere appreciation for all the efforts you are making to empower these vulnerable people. I would now like to call upon Sunita Sureen, who is a youth facilitator from a remote village and has been working with adolescents and people living with psychosocial disabilities. She has been facilitating structured monthly PLA, participatory learning action meetings with adolescent groups on the themes of education, nutrition, mental wellness, violence, and issues of sexual and reproductive health. She encourages and engages with adolescents to build their confidence and resilience through leadership activities on sports like participation of girls in soccer, life skills, and organic farming practices. सुनीता सुरीन जी, आपका स्वागत है इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे।
थैंक यू दीदी, और मेरी तरफ से और दोबारा देवा जी को भी थैंक यू, और सबों को जोहार। मेरा नाम सुनीता सुरीन है और मैं वेस्ट सिंहभूम झारखंड की है, और मैं एक युवा साथी हूँ, और मैं किशोर किशोरी लोगों के साथ चर्चा करती हूँ। वहाँ पर 4 विषय पर बातचीत करते हैं। सबसे पहले शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, पोषण, हिंसा, उसके बारे में किशोर किशोरी साथ चर्चा करते हैं। शिक्षा में सबसे पहले किशोर और किशोरी लोगों के साथ बातचीत करके उसके माता पिता के साथ भी बातचीत करते हैं और स्कूल में भर्ती कराते हैं। इसके साथ साथ अभी जो लॉकडाउन के बीच में ऑनलाइन पढ़ाते हैं, और ऑफिस के द्वारा जो फोन मिला है उसी से हम लोग पढ़ाते हैं। इसके बाद स्वास्थ्य के बारे में, स्वास्थ्य में महामारी के बारे में किशोर और किशोरियों के साथ चर्चा करते हैं। उसी के साथ साथ हम लोग किशोरियां जो कपड़ा से पैड बनाने के लिए भी सिखाए हैं। अभी जो कोरोना काल में या लॉकडाउन के बीच में बाजार, दुकान सब कुछ बंद है। अभी जो दुकान बंद होने के कारण किशोरियां स्टेपलरी नहीं मिल रहा है, जो कपड़ा से हम लोग पैड बनाने सिखाए अभी वो सब यूज कर रही है। और उसमें जो महिलाएं भी जो कपड़ा से बनाए थे उसी सब महिलाएं भी अभी यूज कर रही है, क्योंकि उसके साथ साथ किशोरियां और सबों को उसके बारे में यूज कर रही है, कपड़ा जो बनाए थे उसी का यूज कर रही है। इसके बाद हम लोग पोषण के बारे में चर्चा किए। पोषण में किशोर और किशोरियां सब कोई अपना अपना घर में बागान भी बनाए। पहले मीटिंग के पहले बागान बहुत कोई किशोर और किशोरियां बागान नहीं करती थी, लेकिन अभी हम लोग मीटिंग में चर्चा करके उन लोग भी बागान करने के लिए हम लोग चर्चा किया, और साथ में अभी बागान भी बहुत कोई किशोर और किशोरियां बागान कर रही है। इसके साथ साथ कुपोषण चक्र के बारे में भी चर्चा हुआ। किशोरियां और किशोर में बहुत कोई एनीमिया की कमी होती है। इसके साथ साथ अभी जो सबों को बागान किया है और तो एनीमिया की कमियां भी देखने देखने को मिल रहा है। साथ में हमारे बीच में किशोर किशोरी के साथ हिंसा के बारे में चर्चा हुआ। हिंसा के बारे में वहाँ जितना भी महिलाएं पुरुष सबों को मीटिंग में कभी कभी आते हैं तो उन लोगों को भी जानकारी मिला और वहाँ पर जो कि मानसिक स्वास्थ्य से गुजर रहे हैं उन लोगों के बारे में भी हम लोग चर्चा किए हैं। युवा युवा साथी के द्वारा हम लोग जितना भी गांव में मीटिंग करते हैं उसके बारे में भी और युवा साथी के द्वारा बातचीत करके हम लोग ऑफिस लाते हैं और ऑफिस में दवा सुमित्रा दीदी और डॉक्टर सचिन के द्वारा बातचीत करके दवा भी देते हैं। और अभी जो चल रहा है लॉकडाउन के बीच में जितना भी महिला और पुरुष, लेकिन पुरुष लोगों का बाहर जाने नहीं सक रहा है। इसी के कारण महिलाएं भी घर में बहुत ज्यादा काम में लगे हैं या घर पर बहुत ज्यादा काम कर रही है और पुरुष बाहर जाने नहीं सक रहे हैं क्योंकि लॉकडाउन के बीच में बस गुड़ा सब कुछ बंद होने के कारण उन लोग भी बाहर जाने नहीं सक रहे और घर का काम में लगे हैं। और साथ में हम लोग के बीच में किशोर और किशोरियां साथ में खेल कूद भी शामिल कराते हैं। लेकिन पहले मीटिंग के पहले किशोरी खेल कूद करने के लिए फुटबॉल खेलने के लिए बहुत शर्माती थी, लेकिन अभी मीटिंग में चर्चा करके उन लोगों को खेल कूद में भी भाग ले रहे हैं और बाहर भी खेल कूद करने के लिए माता पिता से समय भी देते हैं और उन लोगों का खेल कूद करने के लिए भी इच्छुक रहती लड़कियां किशोरियां। और साथ में कोविड के बीच में ऑनलाइन क्लास भी सबों को समय समय पर नहीं, हमेशा जब समय मिलने से उन लोगों का भी क्लास कराते हैं और शनिवार के दिन में क्विज भी कराते हैं। बस इतनी करके सब धन्यवाद। और मेरे बीच में किशोर है शंकर, 2 शब्द कहने के लिए आमंत्रित करते हैं शंकर को।
Thank you, Sunita ji. As a true Yuva Sathi, you're not only impacting the lives of those you're working directly with, but it also goes a long way in creating ripple effect on their families and the community at large. We hope you encourage more people to join you in your efforts and help in transforming the lives of more people. So thank you once again, Sunita ji. Next, we have Shankar Iburu. 14-year-old Shankar, studying in 9th standard, has been attending all the PLA meetings organized in his village from the last 3 years and has participated in all leadership activities as well. He believes he has changed after attending the meetings, which he feels could also help other villages, and thus keeps encouraging them as well. शंकर, हम आपका स्वागत करते हैं इस वेदी पर और आशा करते हैं कि आप अपने शब्दों से हम सबको और जागरूक करेंगे अपने काम को लेकर।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सभी को जोहार। मेरा नाम है सरायब्रू, गांव भीम, और मैं झारखंड पश्चिम सिंहभूम जिला से। हम लोगों ने 4 मुद्दा पर बात किया, पहला था शिक्षा, दूसरा पोषण, तीसरा हिंसा और स्वास्थ्य। तो उसमें तब हम लोग पहला शिक्षा, तो शिक्षा में हम लोगों ने चर्चा किया कि कौन कौन से किशोरी विद्यालय नहीं जा रहे और क्यों नहीं जा रहे, उनका कारण क्या होता है। तो उसमें हम लोगों ने खेल के माध्यम समझा, जिसमें किसी बताया कि मैंने कमर दिख ली है, ये मैं विद्यालय नहीं जा पा रहा हूँ, और किसी का मेरा घर गांव से दराज में रहने के कारण विद्यालय नहीं जा रहा हूँ, और किसी ने कहा कि मैं अपने भाई बहनों की देख करता हूँ इसलिए मैं विद्यालय नहीं जाऊँ। इस खेल के माध्यम से हम समझे कि हमें पहले पढ़ाई करनी है, उसके बाद लड़कों के लिए 18 वर्ष और लड़कों के लिए 21 वर्ष और लड़कियों के लिए 18 वर्ष बाद शादी करना है। उसके बाद इसका गांव से दूर दराज में है, अगर हमको विद्यालय की जानकारियां देते रहेंगे तो वो भी अपनी पढ़ाई पूरी कर पाएगा और अपने भाई बहनों की देखभाल रहता, उसको भी समझाएंगे कि वो भी अपने साथ आंगनबाड़ी या अपने साथ विद्यालय ले जाएगा तो वो भी अपनी पढ़ाई कर पाएगा। उसके साथ हम लोगों ने हिंसा पर भी चर्चा किया, जिसमें हमें बताया गया कि हम खाते हैं लेकिन ऐसे जिसमें हमें कार्बोहाइड्रेट, प्रोटीन, वसा तथा विटामिन प्राप्त हो। तो इसमें हमें बताया गया कि हमें हरे साग सब्जियां, पत्तेदार सब्जियां, फल फूल, मछली, अंडा, चावल, गेहूं, दूध आदि का सेवन करने हमें कार्बोहाइड्रेट, प्रोटीन तथा विटामिन प्राप्त होता है। उसके साथ साथ हम लोगों ने हिंसा पर भी चर्चा किया, जिसमें जब हम गुस्सा होते हैं तो क्या होते हैं, तो इसमें हम एक पिक्चर का माध्यम से समझाएगा। तो किसी ने कहा कि जब मैं गुस्सा करता हूँ तो कोई भी सामान को पटक देता हूँ, लेकिन हमें गुस्सा नहीं करना चाहिए। गुस्सा करने से खुद का ही नुकसान है। हमें गुस्सा को कंट्रोल में रखना चाहिए, सब तरह से करना चाहिए। उसके बाद हम लोगों का स्वास्थ्य पर जब हमने चर्चा तो उसमें हमें बताया गया हमें 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 साफ पानी हमेशा उबाल कर पीना चाहिए। उसके बाद कोई भी कार्य करने के बाद या शौच से आने के बाद या खाना आने से पहले हमें अपनी हाथों को अच्छी तरह से धोना चाहिए। उसके बाद हमें गीले कपड़े नहीं पहनने चाहिए। गीले कपड़े से जनन अंगों के बीच में गाविया का फायदा होते हैं। अगर वो फायदा भी होते हैं तो हमें सबके सामने दिखाना चाहिए। इससे हमने बहुत कुछ सीखा और साथ ही साथ हमने पीएलए एकजुट की तरफ से खेल प्रतियोगिता में भाग लिया और उसमें हम भाग लिया और हमने बहुत कुछ सीखा, जिसमें कि खेलने कूदने से हमारा शरीर स्वस्थ रहता है। उसके बाद स्वास्थ्य पर हमें बताया गया कि हमें स्मोकिंग करना चाहिए। स्मोकिंग करने से हम लोग का शरीर में कैंसर हो सकता है। स्मोकिंग करने से बहुत प्रकार से हानि होती है। उसके बाद लॉकडाउन के कोविड-19 की वजह से हम लोग स्कूल नहीं जा रहे हैं, अपने दोस्तों के साथ भी नहीं मिल पा रहे हैं। घर में पढ़ाई तो करते हैं लेकिन शिक्षक द्वारा जो समझाया जाता था वैसे नहीं समझ रहे हैं। उसके बाद यहाँ वहाँ जाने के लिए वाहन की सुविधा नहीं है। उसके बाद साथ ही साथ लॉकडाउन से हमें कुछ लाभ भी हुआ, जैसे हम अपने संबंध वालों या परिवार वालों से मिल तो नहीं पा रहे हैं, लेकिन इंटरनेट के माध्यम से भी उनसे बात पा रहे हैं और पढ़ाई भी हम लोग इंटरनेट के माध्यम से कर रहे हैं और अच्छी तरह से समझ रहे हैं। और इससे हमको सीखने को मिला कि पहले कोविड-19 की वजह से हम मोबाइल में इंटरनेट चलाने नहीं जानते थे। अब कोविड की वजह से हम मोबाइल से प्रतिदिन इंटरनेट चलाते हम लोग इंटरनेट चलाने सीख गए हैं। इस मीटिंग में आने के बाद मुझ में बहुत तरह से परिवर्तन आए। अगर मैं इस मीटिंग में नहीं आता तो शायद जैसे था वही रहता। इसलिए मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। हम इस मीटिंग से बहुत कुछ सीखे, बहुत कुछ समझे और दूसरों भी समझे कि हमें कम शादी नहीं करना है। जो स्कूल नहीं जा रहे उसको कहेंगे उसको कि वो भी विद्यालय जाए। हमें स्मोकिंग नहीं करना है। थैंक यू, धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, Shankar. At such a young age, the huge responsibility that you have undertaken to create awareness among the people will definitely go a long way to ensure that there is a huge improvement in the community as well as the lives of people. So thank you so much, Shankar, once again. And thank you, Sunita and Deboy as well, for sharing their experiences and making us aware of how the world looks like from the other side. We are just like you came to the session and learned. It was a great learning experience for all of us who are present here today. So thank you so much. Moving on, now we have speakers from across the world from Brazil. To start the panel discussion, I would like to invite Wanda Vitoto, who's from the Hyde Solomis River in Amazonas forest and works as a nurse technician at Alfredo de Mata Foundation and is studying pedagogy at Estadual University from Amazon. She has a fundamental role in improving medical care for over 2,500 indigenous people and 15 different ethnic groups. Wanda is an environmental and social activist, member of various indigenous students movement, Witoto Association articulator, and leader on indigenous women cause. She is also responsible for Roaringa group, which means dancing women, and traditional chant, who aim towards bringing back the real meaning of nurture and healing forces from female energy for nature. We welcome you, Wanda, to share your experience.
Então, seja bem-vinda, Wanda, para compartilhar toda a sua experiência, que a gente acabou de avisar a todos assim, sobre o teu background, né? Sobre tudo que você já vem vindo fazendo. Agora fica com você. Eu vou te traduzir.
Obrigado, bom dia a todos. Boa tarde na Índia.
Então, ela agradece. She's saying thanks. And good evening for India people. Good morning, Brazilian people.
A experiência vivenciada por nossos povos aqui no Brasil, elas têm sido uma das mais desafiadoras possíveis.
So here in Brazil, this is the experience from traditional people, indigenous people.
Principalmente diante de um governo hoje que o nosso país tem como líder, as suas negligências diante da condução do nosso país têm colocado a vida dessas populações indígenas, sobretudo, em grande risco.
Especially because nowadays we have a government, and this government is neglected all the work we've already done with the rights from traditional people, indigenous rights in the constitution. The constitution here in Brazil is not working anymore because of this government, the actual government.
Ao longo de 5 séculos, os povos indígenas enfrentam grandes desafios para a garantia e proteção dos seus territórios. E nesse período de pandemia, esses territórios sofreram grandes ameaças, estão sofrendo, na verdade, as ameaças de invasão. Na verdade, estão acontecendo invasões dentro dos nossos territórios. Nesse momento, há confrontos em terras Yanomamis e terras Mundurupus no nosso país, onde o discurso do presidente do nosso país ele é estritamente violento e incentiva a exploração de minério nos nossos territórios e a invasão desses territórios.
So now, from 500 years from now, the indigenous people are fighting for their rights or for their territories, for their lands. And especially nowadays, this president we have here in Brazil, he's doing some connections. It is very destructive to indigenous people because it's about mineration, it's about oil, it's about agribusiness, and this kind of politic destruct all what we have as already had as rights from the indigenous people, and many people are dying in the struggle about not only the COVID, but because people are doing inside their territories are doing invasions. and killing children from our traditional people here.
Recentemente, na quinta-feira passada, foi aprovado no Congresso Nacional a abertura desses territórios para essa exploração. Essa aprovação em nosso país coloca mais risco sobre esses territórios e, sobretudo, sobre a vida dos nossos povos, que já estão extremamente ameaçados desde que no nosso país ele foi ocupado pelos colonizadores que dizimou vários povos, dizimou várias culturas, dizimou várias línguas. Os nossos povos hoje lutam pelas suas vidas. Todos os dias é uma grande luta para os nossos povos diante de tanta ameaça direcionada para os nossos territórios, para a floresta que cerca ainda os nossos territórios, para os nossos rios. Os nossos rios, em muitas áreas que estão as nossas aldeias, estão poluídos por conta dessa exploração de minério de forma predatória que é em nosso país. E esses avanços, na verdade, um retrocesso das políticas de proteção ambiental e de proteção dos nossos territórios. Isso acaba colocando em risco, mais uma vez, a vida desses povos, desses 305 povos que resistem aqui há muito tempo.
So we have here 305 traditional people, indigenous people in Brazil still living here and with their culture alive. But since the colonization, many indigenous people are already gone. Their language, their culture. Nowadays we have with this government, we have this politics to explore the nature, to explore their territories, because it's around the forests, not only in Amazon, but in other biomes, in all the biomes in Brazil, as Atlantic forest, as a Cerrado, we call the other biome. The indigenous people from their places are struggling and dying because this government is about to, they only want the minerals and the agribusiness and the oil, and that's why they don't respect the indigenous as the original people from here. And then they are always day by day struggling about their rights and their lives, their lives. Also, last Thursday, we had a law giving permission to this kind of thing, to take out from the forest the trees, the wood, the oil, and the minerals. So this is a huge work here nowadays and struggle.
E toda essa desconstrução traz um discurso das lideranças desse país pelo desenvolvimento do nosso país. Essas invasões desses territórios, a abertura dos nossos territórios, o discurso é na defesa de uma economia predatória, em função de um desenvolvimento que é autodestrutivo, um desenvolvimento porque eles acham que nós somos contra o desenvolvimento desse país, uma vez que a gente não abre as nossas terras, não permite o desmatamento, não permite a exploração de minério que pode trazer riqueza para dentro dos territórios. Nós somos realmente contra, as nossas lideranças são contra a todo esse desenvolvimento econômico da forma que ele é, da forma que é altamente destrutivo para os seres humanos, para a biodiversidade, para a nossa floresta. Esse desenvolvimento que eles falam, ele não condiz com a vida, ele acaba com toda a vida que existe na nossa terra, nos nossos rios, e a vida das pessoas também. Nesse período de pandemia, as nossas comunidades indígenas não foram impedidas por este presidente de receber água potável, de receber alimento. Ele vetou as medidas provisórias como ação de emergência de combate à pandemia. Ele vetou no Congresso a chegada de água. Então, é um governo extremamente desumano com as pessoas, que com certeza contribuiu para a morte de mais de 500 mil pessoas em nosso país. Nós temos o maior número de mortes em um país, é o nosso, e na nossa Amazônia, também aqui no estado onde eu estou, é um estado que passou um dos piores desafios no nosso país, foi por 2 vezes, vivenciou o colapso na saúde. Muitas pessoas morreram sem oxigênio aqui por conta de não termos planejamento para enfrentar essa doença em nosso país. Então, as populações indígenas, desde o início da pandemia e muito antes, na verdade, vivem essas grandes ameaças, esses descasos por conta do nosso governo, que nunca olhou para essas populações, que não reconhece os seus direitos e, principalmente hoje, estão retirando esses direitos da nossa Constituição, uma vez que se aprova no Congresso essas leis que não permitem mais demarcação dos nossos territórios, que não reconhece toda essa violência que esses povos vivem há mais de 5 séculos.
So Wanda is saying the indigenous health problem and all the other problems also is already going since the beginning, because of the colonization and because of this kind of mind to take off only. And because of that, we have in our country, it's already about 500 died, 1,000 with COVID. And of course, many people from indigenous people are in this number. And because we have this government they don't care about the people. They just want take the things, and they have this only the interests in the huge agribusiness or in the huge companies, and they already have this way to not take care. Even some places, some territories, some communities still don't have water because they cut the water. So it's a huge and challenging moment. Podemos finalizar, Wanda? Eu acho,
Sim,
né?
sim, sim.
Por causa do tempo.
Sim.
Obrigada.
Então, os nossos povos estão em constante lutas nesse momento no nosso país. Os nossos parentes têm muitas lideranças em Brasília, se mobilizando, marchando, tocando seus maracás, cantando, porque é dessa forma que é a nossa luta não é com armas, e estamos em grande luta para que não se avance esses retrocessos nesses direitos e que garantam a vida dessas populações, que protejam seus territórios, porque nós vivenciamos dias muito difíceis, e quero agradecer aqui a oportunidade de ouvir, de celebrar também a vida dos nossos parentes indígenas na Índia. Fiquei muito emocionada de ver a apresentação dos nossos parentes aí. e que essa ancestralidade, seja ela onde estiver, que ela emane forças para esse universo, para a celebração da vida. E eu gostaria de fazer em agradecimento, um pequeno som, um pequeno canto para celebrarmos a vida.
So Wanda is saying she's very thank you. She's very emotional about to see the relatives from India, the Aborigines, the indigenous relatives from India and their culture, and to thank the opportunity to share what is really happened here in Brazil. She wants first say the indigenous is fighting, but not with weapons. They are fighting with their hearts and with their maracas. It's a kind of instrument, and their voices, and to bring some hope, she wants to finish with a song, if possible. Pode ser, Wanda.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's very beautiful. Me fala uma coisa, o que é esse canto? O que significa, só para eu explicar?
O canto fala de uma grande travessia. A
The
travessia
chant
ela
is saying about a huge journey.
Não podemos ter medo de atravessar, e a travessia é segura.
And saying we don't need to be afraid because the travel, the journey is safe. It's a safe journey. Thank you. Obrigada, Wanda. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful message. É uma mensagem muito linda, viu? Muito obrigada. De muita esperança. It's a hopeful message.
Muito obrigado, Wanda. In today's time, when many are just concerned about their own lives, standing up for the rights of others and that ensuring that everyone has an equal say is truly commendable. So once again, thank you, Wanda, for presenting your experiences, and the performance was absolutely lovely. Next, we have Dr. Luis Davi Vieira, who has a PhD in social anthropology from Federal University of Amazonas, where he conducted research about Yonomi shamans. He has a master's in history from the Pontifical Catholic University and teaches anthropology at present at the Estadual University of Amazonas. An author of books on shamanism and theater in the plastic arts, he is a researcher at the National Institute of Science and Technology, Brazil, plural in conjunction with federal universities in the north and south of the country, working with indigenous people in ethnology, art, and shamanism in the upper Rio Negro Amazonas. In addition to academic activities, he actively participates in training workshops, staging shows, and develops bodily experiences with indigenous and traditional people. We welcome you, Dr. Lewis, to this platform and to hear more about your experiences and the work you do with the communities.
Então, a Jasmine te apresentou e agradece a tua presença, que você vai compartilhar conosco com o trabalho com as comunidades.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Brazil, and good afternoon in India. I am very happy in talking about the situations indigenous people in the Brazil, is Yanomami indigenous. And I will talk in Portuguese because it's my language, because it's better for me. Thank you.
So he's saying good morning and good evening, Brazil and India. He's very happy to be here, and he will talk in Portuguese because it's his language and it's more comfortable for him.
Bom, nós, como a Wanda colocou para a gente, nós estamos em uma situação muito difícil na realidade dos povos indígenas no Brasil.
Então, as Wanda already spoke with you, we are in the struggle moment for indigenous people here in Brazil.
A realidade do povo Yanomami nesse momento é com a invasão de 20 mil garimpeiros.
The reality is an invasion from 20,000 minerals, illegal minerals here in Brazil in these areas.
Nesse mapa que eu mostro é a terra indígena Yanomami. Ela está toda nesse momento invadida por garimpeiros.
So this is a territory from Yanomami people, Yanomami, and this territory is invaded from illegal minerators.
Nesse momento, o povo Yanomami, eles estão reunidos para combater a Covid através do xamanismo.
And now they are together to fight against this, doing the shamanism, doing rituals.
E eles estão reunidos para conseguir barrar a mineração dentro de sua terra diante da liberação do projeto de lei 490.
So they are in their places struggling about this law. It's who gives the permission to the minerators and to
E eles praticam os rituais para segurar o contágio da Covid-19 e também para fazer a manutenção espiritual da entrada dos garimpeiros em terra indígena.
So they do these rituals, the name is Reahu, and for maintain their health, maintain the immunity system against the COVID, and also against the invasions, the white people and minerators and all the bad guys who comes to take off the forests.
Junto com outros antropólogos que trabalham com Yanomami, nós escrevemos um artigo e publicamos em outro país, publicamos na Colômbia, denunciando a realidade e a invasão dos garimpeiros em terra indígena Yanomami.
So he wrote an article with a denouncement about this invasion in the Yanomami territory.
Nesse artigo, a gente coloca o descaso do governo federal junto às políticas públicas de saúde aos povos com demarcação territorial no Brasil.
In this article, fala de novo, Luiz, por favor.
Nesse artigo, nós fizemos uma reunião de dados sobre a Covid-19 e fizemos uma denúncia da situação das políticas públicas.
Só um pouquinho, Luiz, just a minute, vai mudar, a Luciana vai traduzir para você agora, tá? Luciana is the translator now, okay? So, you can come, Luciana.
Hello, everybody. So Luis was saying that with another anthropologist, he wrote this article with a denunciation, with telling everybody what is happening in Yanomami land. So can you continue, please?
Nesse artigo, nós fizemos um mapeamento de várias regiões da terra indígena Yanomami na questão da invasão do garimpo e também do contágio da Covid-19.
So in this article, they did a map of all the points with invasion and all the points with COVID in Yanomami land.
A atual realidade, ela é muito difícil e na última semana subiram cerca de 200 barcos de garimpeiro para dentro de terra indígena Yanomami a partir da liberação do projeto de lei 490.
How many? Quantos, Luiz?
Cerca de 20 barcos.
20 barcos, okay. So the situation with this government, we already have done our limits with this government we have in Brazil. So it's very difficult situation. And he said that because the government is putting this law project to vote in Brazil, giving permission to the minerators to invade the lands. All in this week, 24 boats had reached the Yanomami land.
A qualquer momento, podemos ter conflitos entre os indígenas Yanomami e os garimpeiros, podendo ter massacres e dizimações grandiosas.
With this situation, we can have fights with a lot of deaths of indigenous people because of this situation with minerator men. We call like garimpeiros is the name here in Brazil.
Nesse momento, a gente reúne indígenas e não indígenas para somar forças e tentar segurar essa invasão e esses conflitos.
In this moment, we are getting together indigenous people and not indigenous people to make a force task to prevent these fights and this death in Yanomami land.
Nós indígenas e não indígenas estamos fazendo parcerias com pessoas, com ONGs, com instituições do mundo inteiro para denunciar essa invasão e a gente conseguir segurar os conflitos.
So we, not indigenous people and indigenous people, we are together making partnership with a lot of institutes around the world, ONGs around the world, to make this statement about what is happening and trying to stop this invasion, trying to get this minerator men out of the Yanomami land.
É momento de muita tensão para o povo Yanomami.
So it's very difficult and tense moment for Yanomami people. And as Wanda said already, for all the indigenous people here in Brazil.
E o que nos dá esperança a cultura tradicional, são os cantos tradicionais, os rituais tradicionais, como a Wanda Ekjut mostrou para a gente no canto.
And what gives us hope is all the traditional ways that these people have to experience life, like the chants, the sounds, the healing rituals, like we saw when Wanda showed us the music.
E então, para finalizar, a minha fala é uma fala de denúncia e um momento de muita luta dos povos tradicionais do Brasil, de muita resistência, e eu convido a todos para que estejamos juntos.
So to end this speech, I'd like to invite everybody to fight with us, to fight against this situation. So my speech is about fighting this situation. It's about telling everybody what is happening in Brazil and make this this point to that we have to know what is happening. So we are. Pode falar, Luiz.
Como dizem os Yanomami, Inarrapaua e Papa, com Camão Chitoterritaua. Muito obrigado, pessoal, e que estejamos sempre juntos.
So as Yanomami people said, he made this phrase that they use, that we are all together. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lewis. And I think it's a famous saying where someone said that if we are to live together in peace, we must know each other better. And the whole aim of this dialogue and exchange was to understand the issues and challenges faced by the communities, not just in our country, but also in Brazil. And it was wonderful hearing to your experiences and the work you do. And you rightly said that we look forward to having more and more interactions whereby we can find solutions to fight these problems. And the only way we can do that is by understanding each other and also standing by each other. So thank you so much, Dr. Lewis, and we look forward to more interactions with you. Next, we have Karina. She could not join us due to technical issues, but we have a video shared by her in which she presents her thought. So Karina Desana, her traditional name being Horopaku, which means mother of flowers. She is a youth activist and leader from the indigenous community of Desana in the Hyde Negro River, closer to the Brazilian border of Venezuela. Studies to become a teacher. She is already working with the indigenous community schools deep within forests where communication is almost zero, but aims towards indigenous digital inclusion. So here we have the words by Karina.
O Arcantei, Arcarorera, bom dia, meus parentes. Meu nome é Karina, sou do povo Dessana, sou aqui de Novairão. Bom dia, minha parenta Wanda, que prazer participar dessa reunião, desse encontro. Micaela.
Bom dia, sou Micaele, da etnia Baré.
Waikai, Popegari, bom dia, parente. Eu sou Tiago, do Porrapurinã.
Somos jovens daqui de Novairão. Aqui tem a Micaele, representa a comunidade Renascer. E aqui é o Tiago, do povo Apurinã, que representa a comunidade Mirituba. Somos futuros professores indígenas e vivemos numa comunidade também indígena que está tentando revitalizar a nossa cultura. Na pandemia, vivemos numa comunidade também que falta a saúde, educação e também assistências básicas, né? A pandemia nos atacou diretamente, não só ao nosso corpo.
I can translate. Yes, I can translate. So Karina, she introduced herself, and Micaela and the other name? Micael?
Thiago.
E o seu nome? And Thiago, they are young people from these communities, and they are organizing themselves. And now you can, você pode continuar, a partir de agora eu vou te traduzir, tá bom? Eu achei que era, eu não entendi. Eu não tinha entendido que precisava da tradução. Vamos lá.
Somos da comunidade Renascer, comunidade Mirituba e aqui do município de Novo Airão.
They are from the community Renascer, the community Mirituba, and the community of Novo Airão.
Somos futuros professores indígenas, já lecionamos também no ano passado em meio à pandemia.
They are future indigenous teachers, and they already started this work last year in the pandemic.
Na nossa comunidade não existe comunicação, não existia internet e a desinformação sobre o corona era constante.
In our community, we didn't have internet, we didn't have this communication ways, so there was a lot of disinformation about the COVID.
Todos os dias, a falta de educação, a falta de saúde e assistência básica fazem parte do nosso dia a dia, do nosso cotidiano.
So every day, the missing of education, of public health, and public social ways, every day this is missing in our lives.
O nosso contra-ataque contra o corona foi as nossas ervas medicinais, foram a procura dos nossos anciãos e pajés.
Our answer to COVID was our herbs, our medicinal herbs, and our pajés, the spiritual and the spiritual leaders of the communities.
Nossas crianças acreditam nas plantas medicinais e acreditam também que elas poderiam se tornar a vacina. Como um aluno me disse um dia que o limão poderia se tornar, ou a carnaúba, uma vacina para nos proteger.
So our children, they believe in medicinal plants, in medicinal herbs. They believe these herbs can be the vaccine we need for COVID. As a student of mine said to me the other day, lemon can be a vaccine against COVID, and against, or lemon or carnaúba, another plant, can be a vaccine against COVID. Very beautiful.
O corona não atacou somente o nosso corpo, mas atacou também espiritualmente.
And COVID has not attacked only our body, has attacked us spiritually.
Como futuros professores, estamos tentando revitalizar nossa cultura entre nossa comunidade.
As future and teachers, future young teachers, we are trying to revitalize our cultural and traditional practices in our communities.
Lutamos contra vários inimigos e o vírus é um deles. Lutamos contra o nosso governo, desgoverno genocida, contra os invasores do nosso território.
We fight against a lot of enemies. We fight against our government. We fight against the invaders in our lands. We are fighting against all these needs we have.
Sentimos as dores de nossos parentes enfrentando essa política suja.
And now we are facing the pain of our parents fighting against this dirty politics our government has.
Hoje existe a internet na nossa comunidade e vemos de longe a luta e também presenciamos também o que acontece em todas as aldeias, em todas as comunidades e vemos também que temos as mesmas dores.
So nowadays we have the internet in our community, so we can see the news and see what is happening in other communities. And we can see that their pain is very similar to ours. We have the same pain.
Existem os garimpeiros, existem as pessoas atrás de areia, pessoas atrás da riqueza do nosso território. Esses invasores são constantes, não só ao nosso território, mas ao território dos nossos parentes, a Imiri e a Tuari também.
So there are the minerator men, the garimpeiros, like we said in Brazil. There are a lot of people that are interested in the richness we have in our lands, in natural resources, but in the richness with the wood, for example, or the minerals. And this is happening not only in our territory, but in the other communities also.
Hoje vivemos também um sinal das enchentes, a maior enchente de todos os tempos.
And with these invasions in our lands, nowadays we can see the signs. We can see signs like with too much water and this not balance in the water in our lands.
As casas dos nossos parentes estão alagadas e algumas perderam as plantações.
There are a lot of houses of our parents that our parents, our family, our friends that are covered with water, and they had lost their plantation.
É um sinal das ações que, como ser humano, estamos fazendo sobre as ações climáticas, né? Isso é um sinal que estamos agindo de uma forma errada.
So this is a sign that we are acting in a wrong way, because it's a sign of nature that we are not doing right.
Precisamos
As
respeitar.
a human being, not doing right as human beings, because indigenous people are always fighting for the land and nature.
Precisamos respeitar a Mãe Natureza como nossa irmã, nossa mãe superior.
We need to respect the Mother Nature as our mother, our sister, as our guide.
Porque antes desse mundo, o mundo que os Desanas criaram, todos eram os irmãos.
Because before this world, the worlds that Devas in their culture created, we were all like brothers and sisters.
Tínhamos irmãos como as onças, animais, a água, nossa irmã árvore, nossa irmã terra. Então, todos nós, antes desse mundo, nos entendíamos.
We had brothers like the animals, we had a sister like a tree. So all of us, we understand each other. It was like this before this world.
E hoje estamos conectados espiritualmente com a natureza.
So nowadays, we are spiritually connected with the nature.
E hoje eu finalizo agora a minha fala, que precisamos de vacina.
So I want to finish my speech telling that we need the vaccine.
Pode falar. Nós precisamos de vacina como prioridade para o nosso grupo indígena.
We need a vaccine like a priority for our indigenous group.
Precisamos de respeito aos nossos povos.
We need respect to our people.
E pare de nos matar.
And that they stop kill us.
Ayun Essan Parkuakan. Obrigado, Deus nosso Pai.
Thank you, Father our God. She said in her language. Very nice. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you, Luciana.
And thank you, Micaela and Thiago. Obrigada, obrigada.
Thank you so much, Karina and Luciana, for helping us with the translations. We also have a short video by Karina itself, which we would like to play.
So that it was like I was like now it's a video. They can do a pause, and then I noticed it was online. Okay, thank you.
Olá, parentes da Índia. Meu nome é Karina, sou do povo Dessana, moro aqui em Novairão, aqui no Amazonas. Eu sou professora e já lecionei numa comunidade indígena ano passado, e lá eu vivi o início da pandemia. A pandemia, ela nos atacou diretamente e feriu, não além das feridas que deixaram aos nossos parentes, mas espiritualmente também. Nos interviu de reunir em grupo, em nossas organizações e nossos movimentos indígenas pararam de um dia para o outro, porque todo ano a gente tinha os encontros indígenas, né? Onde nos fortalecia, onde a gente resolvia juntos a nossa causa, resolvia junto também nossos problemas, e lá a gente tentava defender o nosso território, defender o nosso corpo como território também, defender a nossa escola indígena, a nossa educação, a nossa saúde. E esse ano todo parado, agora com 1 ano e meio, 2 anos parado, a gente não se encontrou mais e ficamos restritos, né? Ficamos restritos, a nossa comunidade ficou restrita de muitas coisas e passamos a viver uma época de muita tristeza, de muita luta, e nosso povo já viveu muitas lutas, né? Há mais de 500 anos de luta, e o vírus é só mais um inimigo para vencer. As nossas comunidades indígenas aqui de Novairão receberam muitas ajudas. Ajuda de parentes indígenas e ajuda também dos Cariwa, os homens brancos. A gente agradece de coração pela ajuda. A pandemia nos afetou diretamente, mas também existem outros inimigos. Hoje sofremos a maior enchente. A enchente também que deixou muitas casas de nossos parentes no fundo. Plantações, casas, sítios, comunidades. E hoje vimos isso como um sinal da natureza. O sinal que devemos respeitar e ter consciência.
Thank you so much, Karina, for this wonderful performance and the video that you have given. Definitely, traditional and cultural practices form an integral part of human existence. Yet, over the years, there is a deep concern for preserving these for the future generations, mostly due to exploitative practices. We deeply appreciate the efforts you're putting in to preserve these traditions and also raising your voice against these exploitations and fighting for the rights of the people in your community. Thank you once again. Next, we have Ian Clark. who is 16 years old and is based in Novo Airo, Amazonas. He was a pupil of the Escola Bimazonia on the Rio Huapari from 2009 to 2019 and has been a member of the Association of Craft Workers and extra activist of the Rio Huapari. He has been active in turtle protection project, replanting and forest management, and community-based tourism. We welcome you, Ivan, for this experience sharing.
Thank you very much. So today we're going to speak about what happened the last year, what's happened this year with people that live in the riverbank of the river Rio Negro in the Amazon forest here in Brazil. So in the past 1.5 years, the pandemic really badly because they were already isolated and didn't have much help from the government. So when the pandemic came, they realized and this is the only aspect, but in the other aspects, they had problems with lack of knowledge of the coronavirus. A lot of people died because of lack of medicine and knowledge about the coronavirus. And only because it was the government didn't have a lot of information to give them. And I think it's just the problem is the isolation and the lack of information. So this is a bit of the problems that happened with the coronavirus with the people that live in the riverbank this year and the last year. So this year the people are having same problems of the last year's coronavirus, and some of the people in the interior of the rivers were already getting vaccines. That's a very good thing. But Karina said this year there was a really high level of water, and a lot of houses and communities went went underneath the water because the water level got like 10-12 meters higher than the normal year. So people were really afraid of high water level, and they lost a lot of plantations. They lost their houses. They had to go to other places where the water doesn't get, and they had a lot of problems with the high water level. This was in the whole Amazon region, and this year I helped with a lot of projects delivered food parcels to some of these remote areas in the Amazon region, helping a lot of people that lived there because they didn't have food. The fish was really hard to catch. They didn't have the plantations because the plantations were lost all the fruit, including bananas, manioc flour, and other stuff they used to eat in a day. And so the food parcel helped them a lot, but they still don't have houses back because of the water level. They still stations, and that's really sad because they didn't have good have any work life. And in my opinion, in this aspect, who could help would be the government, explaining the real situation about the coronavirus. They have because the government in this moment is not helping with it's not incentivizing the people to vaccine themselves. So people are afraid to be vaccinated because government is giving a good example about the. So I think this is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ayan. I think at such a young age, when we see people working so actively towards the welfare of the communities, it is truly inspiring and motivating for everyone who's out here. Not only the participants who are there on the call with us, but also who are joining us through Facebook and other mediums right now. So thank you once again, not only to the people who, Ian, Karina and Shankar and everyone who's been here. Your experiences and the way you have spoken about your experiences, it's truly inspiring and motivating. And we look forward to hearing and exchanging more thoughts in the process of how we could work together towards the welfare of the communities and join hands for the betterment of the society as a whole. So next, moving on to the final segment of the program, I would like to call upon Dr. Nirmala to give her closing remarks.
Thank you, Jasmine, and I'm really grateful to the team of Dais for getting us together. So we are, like you said, from across the world, and we are able to interact with the young people in the country of Brazil. We have, the participatory approach that we always have been practicing for the last so many years was led by or understanding by Paulo Freire, who also happens to be from Brazil, who was an educationist and a philosopher. And his process of enabling to build a healthier world in terms of working together and caring for one another through the pedagogy that he had, the model that he had uh, mm, professed, is something that we are even now acting upon. And the other thing that we'd like to learn a little more about is the football that Brazil is so proud of. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for getting us together.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Ms. Sindhu Ishwaran from Brazil, India, who will be presenting her closing remarks.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say it's been such an inspiring, heartwarming dialogue today with all of you. And I'm just reminded of one thing that I heard recently is that individually we can go very fast, but together we can go very far. So on behalf of Brasilindia, I'd like to say a big thank you to Wanda, Vitoto, Karina Desana, the Professor Luis, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing any name wrong, Professor Luis Davi Vieira and Ian, and of course to the Dais for bringing all of us together, and very inspiring people, or everyone from Ekjut Foundation. And yeah, and the main thing I think is for us to learn from these indigenous cultures and such traditional wisdom that we still have, and that we have to coexist in harmony. It's just heartwarming. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sindhu. Next, we have Keshav Gupta, the founder for Dais, to share his closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Jasmine, and for giving me the floor. Let me just begin by thanking all of you who have been a part of this inspiring exchange. I've had the privilege of interacting with Vanda earlier, and Ekjut. We have worked on the Earth Day also together, and I think that presentations that were made and the voices that were put out, that is what inspired us to get in touch with both the organizations and request them to have such a wonderful mutual learning experience being created. Uh, I, I think my only message to everyone, all the listeners, is that we should learn as much as we can, get out of our structures, which are sometimes very urban centric for a lot of people that we work with, to understand where the real knowledge and roots of our civilizations lie, to connect with the nature. But while we do that, and we see the struggles of the indigenous and the tribal communities around the world, not just in India and Brazil, we should always uh, try to do our best, starting from the step one, which is be informed, and then to get together using such forums and other forums that different people put together to make a difference, to tangibly try to have some action steps around it. So my only hope is that this is only a starting point for us, as organizations, as people, to get together, and that in the future we are able to further deepen our ties and relationships and learning experiences. So let me just acknowledge the efforts of all the people who are not on the screen today. um, all our Dais team members, everyone from Brasilindia, everyone from Ekjut, who have made this into something so special and overwhelming. My just humble gratitude to all of you. Thank you, Jasmine. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Keshav, Dr. Nirmala, and Sindhuji, for your kind words. A heartfelt thanks and appreciation for all the speakers and the two organizations, Brasilindia and Ekjut, for leading this wonderful session today, wherein we learned not only about the life in the two different communities and countries, but also the challenges faced by you during your work and the community at large. I would sincerely also like to acknowledge the efforts made by my team members on organizing this event today and for putting in the efforts to ensure we all have a wonderful learning experience. I would also like to extend my thanks to all the participants who took out time from the busy schedule and encouraged us with their performance. And I hope that you all enjoyed the program just like we did. Thank you, everyone.